Welcome to episode 3 of On the Road. Today's episode is called The Road to Rapping. Rapping. No, not that kind of rapping. I mean the road to rapping on my album. In other words, the road to completion. Now, you might have noticed I'm in a different place today. You can see the lovely brick wall behind me. That's because the blue jays in my backyard wouldn't stop screeching, and they were kind of loud and obnoxious. So I had to relocate. So now I get to stand on my front porch and talk to myself, because there's no one manning my camera. So in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you all about what went into recording my album, what it was like at the studio, and how it was hearing my songs come together piece by piece. There are basically 2 ways you can go about recording a song. The first way is to get everybody in the bands together and have them play the songs all at once and track all of the instruments simultaneously. You can get a pretty cool effect because it'll almost sound like recording a live show. This is a pretty fast way to record, and like I said, you can get a cool result. It wasn't really conducive to what we needed to do for my album. So we went with option number 2, which was to record scratch tracks or reference tracks and have each of the musicians record their instruments separately along with the reference track and sort of stack them on top of one another piece by piece until all of the instruments were on the album. Once all of the instruments are recorded, you can go back and record vocals, and once the vocals are recorded, you can mix and master the whole thing together. I recorded my album at Jacked Cat Productions in Hamilton, New Jersey with Dave Paracco, and it was a really fantastic experience. It was definitely the best studio experience I've ever had. Dave just really understood where I wanted to go with my songs. He really saw my vision and he made it come to life. After we recorded our scratch tracks, the first thing that we needed to record officially was drums. Brandon Paracco plays drums on the album, and I have to say I was very impressed by his work. He joined the project a little later on in the process, and he basically heard my songs, learned my songs, and recorded my songs all in the same day. I have never seen anybody do that, and I certainly have never seen anyone do that so well. He really set a wonderful foundation for the rest of the band to follow. After drums, the next instrument to record was bass. It was actually a year ago last weekend that we recorded bass. I played bass on the album. As you guys know, bass is actually my primary instrument, but I don't have a lot of opportunities to play it anymore. So I knew that my album was going to be the perfect opportunity to finally get to play bass, and it was kind of a personal thing for me to be able to play bass on my songs. We recorded bass over a couple of days, and after that we had to record acoustic guitar. Some of you might be wondering why I didn't play acoustic guitar on the album when I've been playing acoustic shows for the past couple of years. But I knew that I didn't want to be the one to record the acoustic guitar. I wanted somebody else who could add their own new, fresh take on my songs, and that person was Tam Garcia. Tam really did a lot to make this album come together. His acoustic guitar parts were really awesome. They really added that edge that I wanted to see in my songs. But he was also a great help in helping me arrange things with the studio and in practices. And he also sings some backup vocals on the album. Just after Christmas last year, we headed to the studio to track the electric guitar. Now, since this is sort of my first venture into full band territory as a solo singer-songwriter, electric guitar was a really crucial part of setting this album apart from all of the acoustic things that I've been doing over the past few years. So I knew I had to find an electric guitar player who I really thought captured that energy and that rock sound that I was going for. That person was most definitely Mike Lefton. I'd worked with Mike on a couple of other things in the past, and I knew that he definitely was going to capture that feel that I was going for. It really sounds amazing. I think you guys are going to love all of the electric guitar on the album. There were a few other people who recorded for my album. Wyatt Sikora tracked piano parts for my song Cherry Blossom. I knew that his style of playing would be a really good fit for that song, and I think the piano adds that extra layer that really ties everything together. Anat Murdy also played additional electric and acoustic guitars on some of my songs, primarily on my cover of Led Zeppelin's Ramble On, which was voted to be a part of my album by my Kickstarter backers. I think you guys are really going to enjoy what we did with the song. The arrangement is really unique, and I think it's just something really cool. Anat's guitar parts are really awesome, and you are definitely going to enjoy what he's added to my album. William Bill Biddle also tracked some piano parts for a few of the songs on my album. It was really fantastic having him be a part of my album. He's such a fantastic piano player, and he really added so much. I don't want to give too much away, but there is a certain solo on one of my songs that I think you guys are going to like a lot. Hey, look, I'm back in my regular spot! The joy of barking dogs. Anyway, as I was saying, once we had enough instruments tracked, we were finally able to go to the studio and record vocals. The first song that we recorded vocals for was Cherry Blossom. I remember hearing all of the final instrument tracks along with this real vocal track, not just the scratch vocal track, and really getting a picture of what the song was going to sound like when it was finalized. And it was just a really awesome feeling. By spring, we had enough songs recorded that I was able to release the first single off the album. The song that I picked to be a single was Like Sheep. I kind of knew from day one that Like Sheep was going to be the single. Even when we recorded the scratch track, it just had some special quality about it, and I was super excited to share it with everyone. On April 1st, I released Like Sheep, and it made its radio debut the same week. A lot of people thought that it was an April Fool's Day joke when I said I was releasing a single on April 1st. The joke was it wasn't a joke. I actually released a single. A funny story about recording Like Sheep. When I went to the studio to record vocals for that, I got stuck in 3 hours worth of basically standstill traffic. It literally tripled the length of time it normally takes me to get to the studio. So I was really stressed out and just frustrated and angry by the time I got there. And I thought, this is not even going to be worth it. Like, I'm gonna stink. I'm not in a good frame of mind. Turns out, I was completely wrong. It actually added to my performance. I guess because Like Sheep is kind of an angry song and I was kind of angry. It just worked really, really well. My favorite thing that was ever said to me throughout the entire recording process was when we recorded vocals for Like Sheep, and Dave said that I needed to sing it more like an angry Alanis Morissette stabbing the floor with a knife. By the time May rolled around, we had recorded almost everything on the album. I had to go and record my acoustic guitar parts for the album, and I had to do 3 more vocal parts for a few of the songs. Unfortunately, I got hit with the worst allergies I've ever had. Probably because I never had allergies until last year, and I got 22 years worth of allergies in 1 month. Basically, I couldn't sing for an entire month, and all I had left to do was sing. So it really kind of halted the recording process for a while just because I didn't want to rush it and go to the studio and not sound my best. But in June, I did get back to the studio, and it actually worked out because over the time that I wasn't recording, Dave got this amazing microphone. It's called the Blue Bottle, but I called it Magic Mike because it was truly magical. I've recorded the vocals for all 3 of those songs in 3 hours. That's a song an hour, which is unheard of. And it just sounded amazing. It was like the best microphone ever, like, Magic Mike, where have you been all of my life? It was a pretty interesting moment when I finished recording a take for the last song we were recording, and Dave said, come down and listen to it. So I went downstairs and we listened to it and we said, hey, that was good. I think that was it. You don't need to do another take. And at that moment, we all realized that was the last take. That was the last take for the last song on the album. And Dave said, that's a wrap. And those 3 words were just the best 3 words I've ever heard in my entire life. We cracked open a beer and we celebrated the end of the album. And it was kind of a mixed bag of emotions. Like, I was super happy because, we were done finally. But it was kind of sad too because even though it took a really long time to record, every second of recording was just amazing, and it was so awesome to work with all of these amazing musicians and see this album come together. And it kind of marks the end of an era. But of course, I am so excited to be this much closer to sharing my album with you. After that, the next step would be to mix the album together. So over the summer, Dave was sending me takes of my songs to see how I liked them. And I've made so many mixed CDs of these different takes, trying the songs out in a different order, listening to them nonstop in my car. If I didn't already know my songs inside and out, I would have, because that's how many times I listened to them. It's actually pretty cool that I'm releasing this vlog today, because just last weekend I was at the studio to listen to my album from start to finish, all the way through, mixed and mastered. Meaning I listened to the final product, and it was the first time that I got to do that. And it was just so cool hearing my songs in their entirety, how they were going to flow, and really just envisioning what this album was going to be like. So even though we wrapped in June, I really feel like we just wrapped a couple of days ago. And I love it. Like, I love it, love it. Like, I would marry it. So before the end of the vlog, I just want to give a big shout out to Dave Paracco because he did a fantastic job working with me on this album, engineering it, producing it, and just being a friend through the whole thing. He really understood where I was going, he really got the whole genre, and he got the whole idea. And he put so much love and effort into making this album a reality, and it just is amazing. So thank you so much, Dave. You're great, Jack Cat is great, and I'm just super excited that we finally get to show this thing to the public. In the next episode of On the Road, I'm going to be telling you all about the photo shoot I had with Fordyce Studio to get a picture for the cover of my album, and I think I'm going to have some pretty cool announcements for you guys, so you definitely don't want to miss the next one. Now wait, before you go, do you really think I would give you an entire episode about recording and not let you preview one of those recordings? So sit back, relax, and listen to a sneak preview of my song, Not in Love with You.
Well, the planes take off, we watch them fly away beneath the clear bright sky of a summer day. And you take my hand and ask why I'm so blue. Well, I'm in love with this moment, but I'm not in love with you. Shine and the stars align, but this ain't our destiny. Yeah, yeah. And if the grass was greener, maybe you'd see clearer that we're just not meant to be.
There's more! I'm going to give 2 lucky people the chance to listen to all of Not in Love with You. All you have to do to be entered to win is share this video with your friends on Facebook or on Twitter. Please make sure that you are sharing directly from my post. If you share from somebody else's post, or if you copy and paste the link and start your own thread, I won't know that you shared the video and you won't be entered to win. I will be picking a winner on Saturday at 2:00 p.m. The 2 lucky winners will then receive a link to listen to all of Not in Love with You. So stay tuned for more. Bye!
So